Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back. It is the next day after the big video that I posted. There has been a lot of feedback. There has been feedback, good, bad, and ugly. And I will address all that in just a moment. I do want to start off by saying there will be a resolution to all of this, hopefully come tomorrow. I did speak to corporate. The vice president of Mercedes Canada called me directly, and we spoke on the phone for over a half hour. I'll tell you guys sort of what happened there without going into too much of detail or dragging this video on. But first, I do want to address the issue. For those that don't know, I do have a 2018 AMG C63 Coupe. And yes, it's pronounced coupe, not coupe. Because I had a few people message and was like, why are you pronouncing it that way? But anyway, and I'll get out and I'll show you guys the car, because there were some people asking, what's the spec and stuff. There are other videos on my channel about that, but I'll get out and show you after this little talk we have. I want to welcome all the new people to the channel. I know that there's a lot of people that came by that want to hear how this is going to end. I had also made a much longer video describing the situation that I described in a shorter period yesterday in that 17-minute video or rant about the situation I was in. I will say, guys, I did take a step back. I rewatched the video. I listened to the comments. And although I am not apologetic for how I felt, I will say that I totally understand where some people are thinking that I am some entitled, rich, spoiled douchebag. I knew that making a video and complaining about something as small as not being able to drive your car for a month or two, or however long it's going to take for it to get regulated, is a pretty big first world problem to talk about. And I tried to address that. I will say that yesterday's video, that was at the end of the day after spending over 4 hours dealing with it. I had already made a video. I figured the 41-minute video was too long and most people wouldn't listen to it. So I made a shorter one. I was angry. There was a lot of emotions going on. I was tired. I was everything. So in terms of my emotional state and my demeanor, yeah, that may have come off a little whiny to some people. And once again, I don't feel as though I owe anybody an apology. Those emotions were real. I wasn't over-exaggerating anything for the sake of it. I truly felt that it was a massive inconvenience, and judging the situation and how I was spoken to by the general manager and the misguided information or the incomplete information I was getting from the dealership, I felt as though they were trying to pull a fast one on me. I truly believed, and still do to an extent, that mistakes were made and they didn't want corporate to find out about maybe certain things, and so they were telling me whatever I wanted to hear to get the car back. I don't think my stance on that will ever change. I spent a lot of time in dealerships in the past. I know a lot of people in the dealership industry and sales, and for those that have ever bought in cars, dealerships have a way of building rapport and swoozing you and just finding a way to manipulate you to think a certain way. And my ego and my pride got in the way of being totally understanding about the situation, but at the same time I was very upset about how it all played out. So when I was getting misinformation or incomplete information, I was kind of spinning my own webs and trying to figure out why they're telling me this and all this other stuff. So I understand where a lot of people are coming from, saying I'm some rich, entitled guy. For one, I'm not rich. For two, I feel as though my character is better than what was represented in that 17-minute video. It was just everything was charged up and I was emotional and angry and confused. And that was it. I mean, there's no other way to put it. And for that, I apologize to you guys if you got the wrong idea as a first impression of me. I'm still not apologizing to Mercedes about how I felt, because those were real. But I will say that ever since the video came out, I got to take a step back. I talked to my sales guy down there. We hashed everything out. I went to the DMV this morning, and I asked them, why is it that this car can't be registered? I told them that, or first off, I said, I have a temporary plate. Is this legal for me to drive the road? And the car is insured. She said yes. They brought the supervisor over. I explained the situation about the car not being regulated. And it turns out that the car, the VIN and everything, it pops up on the system and it can be registered. And I want to make sure I get this right. All she needed was to get the NIVIS, the NVIS, which is a sheet that the manufacturer gives that has all the information on the vehicle. That is presented to the DMV, and then they can register the car. She said if I have that slip, they can register it today, and I'm good as gold. The problem is where I found out, and what I wasn't told before, is my dealership doesn't actually have this form. The manufacturer does not give out the form if the car isn't regulated, and that's why the car couldn't get registered in the first place. When I was told before that there was a glitch in the system, and since it's an 18, the system hasn't updated for that model yet, but I have the 30-day temporary plate, so I can drive it as is for 30 days, and by the time my plate will be up, the car will likely be up on the system. That's what I was originally told. And so that was why I continue on with my plans, and everything was good. And it was the next day or 2 days later where I was told, actually, the car needs to be off the road completely. Now, did the dealership tell me that information purposely, knowing that there was a mess up and they were hoping that I would just drive the car and by the time that was up, everything would be good? I don't know. You know what? They're good people down there, but I don't know. And like I said, I was upset, so I started getting defensive. I felt as though, once again, I was being strong-armed or I was being lied to. And so, you know, it was a prideful thing. You know, I can't believe they're doing this. Why weren't they just upfront with me in the first place? And why is it that they gave me the same delivery date for the 2018 when they should have known that it wasn't even regulated for Canada in the first place? Why would they bump me up without telling me that, hey, we can get you in the 18, but it's not going to be regulated, so you're going to have to wait later in the summer? And then I would have just went through with the 17. And this, I'm not going to rehash everything, but there's a lot more other conversations and hypotheticals about maybe me losing the car or them calling my insurance and telling them that it isn't insurable and stuff. So that's why I was saying, well, no, this SL63 isn't going to be good enough. I feel as though I should be compensated in some way for the inconvenience, and it's such short notice and all these other things. But I'm not going to go through that again. It's done. So when I went down to the DMV, she told me that. I called down at the dealership. I said, can you give me this NIVIS sheet? And that's when I found out they don't have it. So I can't get it registered. And although the girl at the DMV said you can drive your car legally right now, she's probably never dealt with this before, her or her supervisor. And I was told by the dealership that it's still probably not smart to drive the car, because if something does happen, you know, Mercedes told me that it wasn't regulated, so, you know, it's going to fall back on me. It'll be my fault for driving the car. And that's why I talked to my lawyer to make sure that, should I drive this car or not? And he also suggested to me, sit it in the driveway and try and speak to somebody at corporate if you can, to find out what's really going on and what they can do. So the video goes out, and I get a phone call today from the vice president of Mercedes Canada. And I'm not saying this to blow smoke up anybody's butt or anything like that. The guy was a stand-up dude. He fully understood my situation. He watched the video. I think he watched the other videos on my channel. He understands what it's like to achieve a vehicle like that. It's a big moment. He felt sorry about the fact that I had received the car and now it's being taken away from me, to go from a high to a low, and he doesn't want to see any of his customers feel any lesser of the experience because of a mistake that Mercedes made or a port made or whomever the mistake was made. We still don't know exactly what happened. So we talked. I explained the situation. I was very open. He was very open about the situation, and we have it resolved. I'm not going to get too far into the details, but he's making it right. He said he wouldn't have it any other way, and he didn't ask me to take down a video. He didn't ask me to make this video. He just wants me to enjoy the moment. It's still unfortunate that this is happening. My car will be towed off or whatever and going down to the port. I will likely have that SL63. They offered me a C63 saloon, and I felt as though that would have been a little bit... I just didn't, because they were going to ship it from Ontario, and I felt as though that was going to be a little bit too late, and I didn't want them to have to ship another car here since this one's already here. And the wife and I are still now going to go on a little road trip. We were supposed to leave the other day, but we're going to go as soon as I get the car, and we're just going to, just shorten up the length of the road trip, and we'll vlog that, and I'll talk about the other car and so on and so forth. So first off, I want to thank corporate for calling. There was no back and forth. It was me listening to him listening to me, working something out that makes everybody happy. And, he apologized for the inconvenience, and I appreciated it. And that was the show. I mean, it really was that simple. He took 35 minutes out of his day to call me personally, talk to me. And like I said, I'm not going to get deep into the conversation, but he was a stand-up dude. Let's just put it that way. There's a reason why he's in the position that he is in. He now has to conduct himself and the vision of the company and how they want people to feel when they receive their cars and drive their cars. This was never anything about the vehicle. And he even told me he was happy to hear that I absolutely loved the car in every way, shape, or form. And he wanted to bring the customer service up to that level, or at least make it better than how it all started out. So there it is. Everything should be taken care of. I'm going to hear back from him tomorrow. I will find out when they're going to take my car and when I'm going to get the loaner vehicle. I will be sure to take the camera with me to film the road trip like it was originally planned. I'll probably do a review of the SL63. And yeah, that was that. So once again, guys, I do appreciate all the comments. And I'm sorry if you got a different impression of me. I know that the people that have been around here a long time understand that I worked very hard for a long time to be able to get this car. I bumped my way up in vehicles. I started off with a 1991 Civic. My first new car was a Mitsubishi Lancer. And then I bought a 128i BMW that was 2 years old that I got a ridiculous deal on. And then I went to this, which is a huge, obviously a massive gap up. And this was a byproduct of a long time. So, I don't want anybody to think, well, I mean, people have thought it now. And it is what it is. And I'm partly to blame because of my emotional state yesterday, and I was just tired of it. And yeah, that's just how it is. So thank you so much. I also want to give a shout out to Autovlog, who took the time to sit down and chat with me the other night when this was all really going down. So if you guys want to go and check out his channel, he also has a C63 S. He is the guy who persuaded me unknowingly to purchase this car, and I wouldn't have it any other way. I absolutely love this vehicle, and when I watched him take it for a test drive, I fell in love with his reaction, and then that was when I went out and took it for a test drive myself, and the rest was history. So shout outs again to Autovlog. If you guys want to see more about the vehicle, since you won't be able to see it here on this channel for a little while, then link to his channel will be in the description below. And let me go out and take the camera, show you guys my car. And if I can tomorrow morning, I am going to show you the entire spec. So if the car isn't taken right away tomorrow, I will make a dedicated video showing you guys all the specs that I got, or the spec that I got for the car, the certain add-ons that I got, why I got them, and then when I get the car back, we'll finish breaking it in, because right now there's only like 1,100 kilometers on it. The break-in period is 1,500 kilometers. So, you know, there's lots of stuff coming. I was actually planning to take 6 lessons on the track. Obviously, I had to cancel those. So, depending on when I get the car back, maybe we can still get it to the track and continue where we left off. So, anyway, without further ado, let me get outside and show you my car. Okay, guys, so here it is. This is my 2018 AMG C63 S Coupe. I got the matte gray, which was the single greatest decision that I made with this vehicle, other than just buying it, because the color is what makes this thing really stand out. I haven't had a single person that talked to me for any length of time about the vehicle or made a comment about the vehicle that wasn't the paint. They all love the paint. It is just, it's unique, it's sharp looking, it makes it look mean. It's just everything that I thought it was going to be and more. It's just incredible. There is the ass end of her. Of course, I got the carbon fiber down in the bottom and the front. I got all the carbon fiber packages, which I think really add to it with this paint color anyway. And the 20-inch rims in the back and the 19s in the front, staggered. And as for the inside, and once again, guys, I'm going to go through this in detail on hopefully tomorrow's video. So you can see there. Once again, I got the same type of carbon fiber on the inside as well. So this is the car. This is the car that created all the fuss. I still love this vehicle so very much, and I'd be a liar if I said I'm still I'm still disappointed that I won't be able to drive it for a while. But you know, somebody in the comments really hit home with me, because it's always been my philosophy that, you know, you have your health, you're fortunate enough to be able to afford something like this. It's not the end of the world, and I totally agree. I really do. And that's why I wanted to apologize to some of you guys, because I'm really not that shallow of a person. I just, once again, it was 4 days of it, and I was just disappointed, just very disappointed, let down. I let down some people that I had commitments to. I let down my wife. Although it wasn't me, I felt as though I was responsible in some way, and it was upsetting. So yeah, I'm gonna miss her, but I'll eventually get her back, and even if I can't enjoy it for much of the summer, it will be here, and I'll be able to enjoy it more next year. And I'll still be able to make some videos with the SL63 in the meantime, and I'm sure we're gonna have fun with that car, because it is absolutely a beautiful, beautiful vehicle. Two totally different beasts altogether. It's much more luxurious than this, much of an easier drive, but it is what it is. It is what it is. And once again, I do want to thank Mercedes Canada corporate over there for just calling me directly, you know, and
apologizing for the situation and not trying to make excuses for things, and just let it let us get to a resolution on there that works for everyone. So fantastic. Thanks again, everybody, and we'll see you on the next video. Once again, make sure to go and check out Autovlog if you want to see more about this car, the C63S. See you guys.